Truckdriver101.com. This is my last thing I'm doing today, the 4th of January already. But one of the last things I want to talk about is if you're in trucking and you're thinking about going to school, understand the ultimate decision of going to school is pointless. But I will say there's one pet peeve I have. Time. A lot of people go to these schools that are throwing you in a truck 2 weeks and out of truck. No. Okay? No, my friend. You need to be in a truck at least 4 or 6 weeks. Okay? This is just to take care of the reality of how good you are. The other part is if you're 20-something years old, early 20s, you need to find out if anybody will hire you. Okay? You better have an impeccable record. You better have really good driving record. No tickets, because you're so young. You're a massive fucking liability. Okay? So, just for you young cats out there. So I got a question from a guy. He wanted to know about, also, what school should he go to? Irrelevant, man. Doesn't matter. I would go with the company with either the longest time or driver placement. You can skip driver placement, but you need to do a lot of local research in your local area and find out about the local area. The problem is when company tells me they're training you for 2 weeks, but they got driver placement. I don't know. Because you said one company does 2 weeks, another one does 6 weeks. I would immediately go for the company with 6 weeks. And the other part you need to find out is, one, will they refund your money if this shit doesn't work out? That's one of the key things you need to find out first. Because they don't refund your money, I wouldn't even do that. What if you get in the trucking for a week and you find out you don't like it? Where I went to school, USA Truck Driver, they're not nationwide. And actually the company's kind of shut down, I think, right now. But the bottom line is, when I went there, we had, I think, 3 weeks to decide whether this was for us. And then after that point, you couldn't get your money back. I like that. That's what you want. You do not want a company keeping your money. Okay? You don't want a company keeping your money for something you don't want to do. The other part is, too, if you in a situation where you sign a contract, guys, all contracts you can get out of contracts. You just got to make enough money to pay them back. And that's no big deal. I mean, after a year or two, you can go master your local area, and you'll find those higher paying jobs. The reason so many guys out here don't make any money is because 99% of them all want the easy button. You got to master your local area. Okay, I stay in Michigan. My local area is auto parts, auto cars, and sometimes import-export going over to Canada. I know a lot of the companies. These are the types of things you got to master if you want to get a really good job in trucking. Because you got to find out where the holes and gaps are. Who needs who? And that's ultimately how you do it. But as far as your decision, go with the place with the most time. Because the most important thing is driving. You can do your own job research if you have to. But driving is the most important thing. As far as being certified by the state, I wouldn't really worry about that, because I've seen schools certified by the state or recommended by the DMV, and they suck. Okay, and I've seen some that don't. If you really want to judge a school, you need to talk to the students who actually went to the school, and then you get a real good picture. And that's easy, dude. Go in there, go to the school you're talking about, and tell them you want, because you're finna spend good money with these people. It's gonna be 4 to 7. Sometimes I've heard of trucking schools cost about $7,000 or $4,000, or sometimes less, or sometimes more. But all that's irrelevant, right? The key thing is go talk to the students. You can tell them and realize you're spending that kind of money, $4,000, $5,000, whatever you're spending. Go talk to them and say, hey, for me to come here, I need to speak to your students. When I went to my school, I literally walking in, all you saw were students going, man, thanks for helping me get through that class. Thanks for helping me teach me how to truck drive, and I never knew how to drive a stick. I mean, people were hugging the people who were teaching them. So I already knew it was a good school just from seeing that reaction. I mean, this is just random from people who were in classes, a few weeks ahead of us. That's the kind of stuff you should see. You should see that thank you from the students. If you don't see that, that's a red flag. Another thing you can look at is when you pull up to the school, and I talk about this in my other video, but I'll talk about it again. Pull up to the school, look at it. Take some time. Look at what they're doing. Are they walking out helping the students back up? Because there should be a yard where they're going to practice. Go out and find out what their route is and watch the guys drive doing the routes. There's a route. Basically what happens when they want to teach you how to drive, they're going to take you on a little route they got. Usually in abandoned type of streets or streets that don't get a lot of traffic. You can sit out there, man, and watch how they teach people. If you see a trainer calling somebody a stupid motherfucker and being ignorant and stupid and dumb, well, that's a bad school. But that's really the best way to know, okay? But the time is the most important thing. Doesn't really matter where you learn, because ultimately, just make sure they have a state certified person giving you a test. And other than that, then that DMV recommendation shit is, unless your state has some type of rule with that, that's bull. That's just, that's a list of companies that are good with the state. That doesn't mean anything. Focus on long-time learning, refunds, how they treat their students, how the people act when you walk inside. That will tell you if it's a good school. But definitely, the longer the time you spend learning, the better you will be. Period. And make sure you go to Swift, Warner, Snyder, and find out if those main companies are going to hire you. Because you say you're 21. That's young. And when I was driving, they didn't hire many 21-year-olds. I remember a guy who was 21 when I started driving who had a big problem trying to get a company to hire him at 21. So I would go to Warner, Snyder, Swift, check them out, see if they're hiring. I'm not recommending those companies, but if Warner, Swift, and Snyder will hire you, then most likely there are other companies that will as well, and you can then start researching your local area that way. And you do need to master your area. You need to ride around malls at 6 o'clock in the morning. You need to talk to local truck drivers in your area. I can't do that just here. But that's the answer to your question, truckdriver101.com. Sorry, it's a little long. See ya.